What does my ideal, sustainable New York look like? What does my ideal, sustainable New York look like? My ideal, sustainable New York looks like every school having a garden instead of a mini police force. A sustainable New York that doesn't find solutions in capitalism. In a sustainable New York, the water is clean and we feel like we have ownership over the water and it's a resource for our family. Knowing what the animals that were indigenous to New York before New York became the concrete jungle were. Like, what animals were here, bro, before they were like a bunch of rats? Like.
My name is Samaya Bubal. I'm from New York City, I'm 18 years old, and I'm the founder and creative director of an activist artist collective called YLC, based here in New York City.
One thing about the Heights, all you hear is music, whether it's dembo or bachata or Pop Smoke and drill and dancing. Everyone in the Heights is not afraid to be who they are.
To be real, this is the first place I lived where I felt I had community, and my activism is definitely informed by this place. America is false to the past, false to the present, and solemnly binds herself to be false to the future. Frederick Douglass.
Right now, we are at Riverside Park. My favorite memory at this park was summer 2020, right after lockdown, and I remember sitting down with my friends at this park and like looking at the water and everyone just feeling different because of everything that we had been through. We just felt so touched by the world. I feel like the time period that we're living in now reminds me a lot of my favorite historical period, which is the Reconstruction era right after the Civil War. And there's a speech that Frederick Douglass gave called Composite Nation. In the speech, Frederick Douglass gives his vision for an ideal America. The Civil War had just happened, and America actually had the opportunity to rebuild, to be something more equitable, to be what we always said we were. Frederick Douglass is talking about all of these quote-unquote radical ideas of giving indigenous people their land back, giving immigrants equal citizenship, giving black people full rights, giving women the right to vote, giving people full religious freedom, and all of these things that we act like are so impossible or maybe even are new ideas, but they're not. And in 1860, we might have passed up that opportunity to rebuild, but in a post-pandemic and post-uprising America, that's not an opportunity I'm willing to let pass anymore. I have this vision of starting a collective with my friends. It's an artist activist collective, and it's meant to represent underrepresented people in New York. I want the collective to be called the Young Lords Collective. And Lords is going to be spelled with an E like Audre Lorde, and Young Lords is obviously a reference to the Young Lords Party.
We do a lot of things at YLC. We make educational pamphlets with translations in different languages, we distribute healthy food in communities facing food insecurity, and allocate funds to young artists of color. A main part of our work is to make social justice education accessible, whether it's about economic inequalities or climate justice.
A lot of people think that to be a climate activist, you need to go vegan, you need to drink from metal straws, and you need to do all these things that, yes, they are important, but climate activism is empowering your community. Oh, can I get one of the bags? Can I get the cart?
When you live in a place where your power is being taken away from you, where you have no control over the land use, air pollution, water pollution, empowering your community is climate justice. Our goal as a collective is to redistribute power to oppressed people. A year and a half in, YLC is still going strong with almost 20 team members.
Free groceries for families in need.
You have to act as if it were possible to radically transform the world. And you have to do it all the time. Angela Davis.
Okay, I mean, it means everything to me. It means everything to me to do what we do. And I love seeing all of us take our power back. Can we talk talk about how the environment has been used as a tool against people of color and kind of talk about colonialism and history in that way?
It is actively affecting us and like people of color disproportionately, you know?
You can't have crime and justice without racial justice.
You know, in the South Bronx, it's the air pollution is horrible, the asthma rates are insane.
Yeah.
And for generations.
Exactly, and it's due to policy choices made. This wasn't just some accident.
These are cycles of violence. These are cycles of where we see people of color disproportionately affected their health. And then there's like this misattribution and like incorrect analysis of that as like, oh, it's just like a genetic predisposition. What are you talking about? Like, you are the reason that this is happening. Like,
I think a lot of environmentalism and like how people of color are treated and how our land is treated is because we're not supposed to be here. Someone just needs to do the work. Someone just needs to make the rich people money.
Corporations will have this narrative where it's on the individual to somehow fix this entire climate crisis. And now we're facing the repercussions where we don't have much time left to tackle it.
They don't talk about the people. They don't talk about rising sea levels and people living in places that are going to be underwater soon.
The master's tools will never dismantle the master's house.
She said the master's tools will never dismantle the master's house.
Sometimes I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle. But my friends never fail to remind me of my power.
Everybody grab a bag. We're gonna...
Every day I'm inspired by their love. Not just their love for me and our collective, but their love for humanity. I dead-ass fuck with my friends, like seriously, like they're actually the best people I know.
It's important to understand, yes, we are people of color, yes, we are discriminated. Detaching yourself also from who you are, and that the same way we can all sit here together and we are all equals in this room, even the people who are capitalists and treating us dirty, they're still us, which is also hard because they can't realize that, but we do. So now that we know that, we can propel forward by knowing that by helping us, we are also helping them.
absolutely.
You know?
I think there's like a culture of apathy and a culture of immobility that we all feel. And it's like, I understand where that comes from. Like, I felt it.
Why would I, as an 18-year-old kid, decide to spend all of my time protesting with my friends or being an activist with my friends? Like, that's not something that you do for fun. That's something that you do for survival.
We've inherited a complicated world in which the environment and its people have been degraded. A world that isn't interested in investing in our future, in the future of this planet. And as young people, we just can't accept that. If my generation is not a new beginning, then we are the final ending.
If I accept that I was born into a dying world, then I am accepting that my birth was in some ways a death. By fighting for that world that I want to see, every day I am reborn.